During interpersonal conflict, the initial communication style used can set the scene for the remainder of the conflict discussion. I'm Lemaire, and in this presentation, I will be talking about how using I language can be extremely beneficial to resolving conflict within interpersonal relationships. I language allows for open-minded and meaningful communication in conflict that does not come off as either hostile or accusatory towards the other person. This presentation will cover what exactly I language is, how it can be beneficial within relationships, and how I've implemented it in my own relationships in my life. According to the textbook for this course, I language is language that lets go of blaming others for making you feel a certain way and instead acknowledges the fact that your perception of their behavior is what makes you upset. A study from Edith Cowan University tested the effectiveness of using I language in interpersonal conflict and rated it as the best strategy to open a conflict discussion. The study concluded that using I language and communicating your own perspective rather than placing blame on the other party were both found to reduce perceptions of hostility in conflict scenarios. Before using I language in my own relationships and my own interpersonal conflict, I experienced conflict escalation due to making the other person feel defensive and like I was blaming them for my problems. For example, I didn't like how my boyfriend was communicating in our relationship, so I told him that he needed to communicate more frequently and more effectively. Because I used you language rather than I language by saying that you are not communicating effectively, he became defensive and the conflict escalated further. This led to a lot of issues that did not need to come up if I had used I language rather than being accusatory towards him. After learning to use I language in conflict, I have been able to avoid a lot of arguments and express my feelings about issues with other people without them feeling attacked or blamed. This was reflected within my relationship because arguments with my boyfriend have become much more productive and allowed the both of us to feel seen and heard without feeling blamed by one another. I language positively affects relationships because it makes them more mutually respectful and beneficial in conflict. I language is essential to maintaining equitable and healthy relationships and taking the blame off of the other person while still allowing you to say how you feel. It allows for both people to express themselves freely without escalating the conflict and making it worse between you two. Overall, I believe that the use of I language is essential in order for each party in a relationship to feel heard and understood without feeling like judgment is being placed upon them. And across the board, even in non-romantic relationships, I language is the most effective way to resolve interpersonal conflict. Thank you.